Diplomacy Lab. My name is Carrie Smith, and I am a student at the prestigious Clark Atlanta University here in Atlanta, Georgia. And it is a pleasure to give you my video portion for the Wonk Tonk competition for my application to the U.S. Department of State. That is not my application to go there, but my application for the competition. To begin with, the African Union is broken into 5 regions in the continent of Africa. The goal for the African Union is to build a stronger continental sovereignty, to establish the United States of Africa. However, the Arab Spring uprising since 2011 have tremendously dismantled the idea and approach for the African region to establish this type of continental sovereignty that once was thought by Kwame Nkrumah. Some of the challenges for the African Union is, number 1, tribalism, nepotism, and last but not least, larger issues of ethnic migrations, which have impacted new ethnic migrations, which have impacted the existing ethnic conflicts and created new disruptions in existing social and economic orders. This extends to tremendous crisis in many areas, especially in the West African region. Secondly, since the 1980s to present, the U.S. Corporations and the U.S. government have given a tremendous amount of money to the continent of Africa, to African states, for development projects. We call those structural adjustment funds. The structural adjustment funds today also require a poverty reduction program to strengthen infrastructure for those regions, which the United States does not help to produce in a lot of fashions. That comes from plans which are initiated by the African states themselves. Third, the United States has worked in a parent-client, that is a father-client type of approach to funding of development programs in Africa, rather than a similar method by the BRIC states, which is more of a partner-client relationship, as in examples like India and China, which have given money to South Africa. Not given, but allowed South Africa to borrow those funds. My recommendation, based upon these 3 concepts, is that since the United States have given has a significant, number 1, has not given but lend money to Africa for development projects, and has a significant investment in Africa to become a larger member partner with Africa. That is, fourth, there are a larger number of African states that are member of the UN than there are member partners for the African Union. There is a large gap of participation between the African Union and the UN. The UN and Africa could build in those relationships together, with the United States taking a lead to build a larger conversation in these capacities. Yes, they have different functions and different roles, but in the end, all 3 organizations have a similar solution. And these solutions could create a capacity for a simultaneous change, looking how we develop our relationship, that is the United States relationship with Africa in the 21st century. By the end of the 21st century, the goal of the United States needs to be to challenge ourselves on how we approach greater functions in Africa, how we build with larger solutions to facilitate a internal African change for development. That is to facilitate Africa to work independently, reaching the goals of the African Union. That is African solutions to African problems. How do we do that? Well, the United States, first of all, has to challenge its approach from the past. The United States, through the Department of State, would first need to figure out, by working in diplomatic relations in Africa, how to do that.